right, everybody. We will now hear from the candidates who are seeking to complete the unexpired term, which was recently vacated by Mary Dunbar. This term will expire at the end of 2023. Only one candidate will be elected. A review of the rules. Each candidate will have 1 minute for an opening statement and 1 minute for a closing statement after the question and answer period. Time limits will be enforced. Only written questions will be accepted. If you would like to submit a question for the candidates during the live forum, please send it via email to heights@lwvgreatercleveland.org. The email box is being monitored. League screeners will review submitted questions. This is not to block opinions or to skew information, but in order to avoid duplication, provide a diversity of questions, and ensure readability and appropriateness. The order of speaking has been determined by drawing lots and will be reversed for the closing statements. I will open by reading two statements from two candidates who are unable to be present tonight, starting with the statement from Robert Koonce. Hi, friends. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person for this forum tonight. I am so thankful for the League of Women Voters coordination of this evening and for all the work they do to keep us informed about the issues that affect us as a community. I am away from Cleveland Heights tonight so that my wife and I can help move our oldest child into college. It's a moment with plenty to sort through emotionally, but one emotion that sticks out is gratitude. I am thankful to Cleveland Heights. Not only did I have the privilege of growing up here, but my wife and I have been able to raise him and our 3 other children behind him in our wonderful community. Thank you, Cleveland Heights, for everything you do for my family. We are very fortunate to live where we live. We enjoy walkable neighborhoods with diversity, great parks, vibrant business districts, attractive architecture, and an array of cultural amenities. In our community conversations, we often talk about wanting a single unified vision for our future. We disagree on so much, but we are brought together by our passion for this city. So let's start there and share that passion with even more people. And now, for the opening statement from Eric Silverman. My apologies for not attending this evening, but my father had heart surgery on Monday, his 7th trip to the ER this year. This November, the city of Cleveland Heights will see big changes with the direct election of our mayor. In January, there will be at least 3, maybe 4, and possibly 5 new members of city council. I believe it is important for us to have at least 1 new member with previous elected experience. For this reason, I am running for the 2-year term of council. I firmly believe that experience matters. We have seen on a national level what happens when we elect those with 0 experience. In this race, I am the only candidate with local elected experience, having been elected 3 times to the school board in 1993, 1997, and 2013, as well as being appointed to a 7-year term on the library board. In fact, I have more experience than all 12 of the candidates running for council combined. With 19 years of service, I understand how local government works, the importance of thinking long-term, the necessity of holding staff accountable, and the importance of responding to public inquiry. And again, that was the statement from Eric Silverman. Moving on now to our candidates who are present. In the order in which they drew lots, we start with James Williams.
Hi, first let me say I am somebody. And shout out to all the working women. First, let me say sorry to my friend that lost his son to gun violence. You are a strong instrument. We, the people, are dying regardless of drugs and poverty or disease. And the thing about activists or activism that I like is that we all have our own instruments to do so. Cleveland Heights has been a thorn in my side for racism, their task force, and neighbors that cannot see common ground. In reality, I was kidnapped I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. And our next candidate in order is Erin Johnson.
Thank you for having me here. My name is Erin Johnson, and I've been a resident of Cleveland Heights since the age of 5. I actually have a daughter, well, 2 children, one that matriculated through Cleveland High School, class of 2021, Heights Tiger Nation. But just getting back to me, I actually have a bachelor's in business, an associate in business, so one in administration and one in management. I actually have worked at Progressive for 9.5 years, where I then had started my own insurance agency through Farmers Insurance, where I had that agency in Cleveland Heights. And now I currently work for the federal government, in which I have been there for over 7 years. So what I would like to do is to bring back unity to the community, since we are a diverse community. And I feel that with the help of the community, we can work together to do that. Thank you.
And next, Mr. Kanter.
Good evening. I'm Garry Kanter, candidate for the remaining 2 years of the unexpired term to bring about accountability and transparency to our city's government. But we almost didn't have this opportunity. The City Council's original press release stated that they were accepting applications for an appointment to fill those remaining 2 years. We are only here tonight because I immediately notified the city that their press release was wrong, that per the city's charter, this election is required. That restoration of our vote for this council seat, which was nearly taken away from us by our own city government, is just my most recent accomplishment, resulting from a decade of researching and very clear and accurate reporting about the Cleveland Heights City Council and the CHUH School Board. Muhammad Ali is credited with saying, "It ain't bragging if you can back it up." I've backed it up for the last 10 plus years, right here where I grew up, in Cleveland Heights. I believe I have earned your confidence to vote for me, to always put the well-being of we the people first.
Thank you. Josie Moore.
Good evening. I am Josie Moore. Thank you so much for having this and for having us all here to share our vision and our ideas for the community. I am running with a strong focus on environmental sustainability and local climate action. I'm doing this because as a mother of 3 young children, I am very scared of what the future holds if we don't start acting meaningfully and quickly on climate. I am running in order to increase involvement and inclusion and representation of our people here in Cleveland Heights. People need to have their voices heard. I am running to grow our local economy with a strong focus on local businesses. And I am running because I want to improve quality of life here, just those everyday pleasures of parks and safety and having a good home to live in. That's why I'm here, and I would be honored to earn your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, for the question and answer period, I will follow my pattern, which is to ask you the first question and down the row. Second question, I start with you and down the row. And when I mess up the process, please just raise your hand and let me know that I got confused. It happens. All right. Ms. Johnson, what are the top 2 or 3 issues or opportunities facing Cleveland Heights? Which is the most pressing, and how, as a council member, would you address it?
That's a good question. I've actually talked to business owners, and they were telling me that the buildings are dated. So that's one issue. I've also talked to the residents knocking on doors, and they were telling me that the police, they love the police, but they have loud noise from certain neighbors. So that's 2. And the third issue that I've heard is there's too much trash on the streets. So for the first issue, I think that what we would need to do is we would need to talk to the business owners who own those properties. We need to implement something with them so we can get them to have these buildings up to code. So if it needs better ventilation, or if it needs more lighting, or if the foundation needs to be repaired, we need to do that. And then for the loud noise, we need to possibly implement that ordinance. And for the trash, we need to do things like come together as a community to get that taken care of. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Williams.
Racism task force that hinder people from being safe in their own countries and here are some of the things that I have issues with. I stay at an apartment building, and every month, in the beginning of the month, the drug man comes through the neighborhood, and you see the residents running out to the drug man because of whatever pain that they might be going through, that they need help, counseling, and that they're not receiving that in our communities. So I'm asking that we all are able to come together to help combat this. The solution I have is to making a gated fence for the driveway so we can stop this from happening.
Thank you so much. As I stated, environmental sustainability is very important to me, and I actually think it's a wonderful opportunity. Other cities in our area are starting to take the lead, and we have a great opportunity to work regionally to really make sure our entire region is a leader in the country on how we can transition to clean energy, how we can increase our ecosystem, and also how we can adapt for climate impacts that are coming. One of those is that we are expected to be a climate refuge, which means we're going to have climate refugees coming our way. And that means we need to focus on our housing, and we need to make sure that all of our properties that are in disrepair are getting addressed, and that we have the housing inspectors on staff who can take care of it, as well as that we have the contractors in our area who can fix them, and we have resources to get them fixed. And finally, I want to grow our local business ecosystem, our local business community, and we need to focus on making sure that we are nurturing entrepreneurialism.
Well, the city has many issues. Safety, the perception of high property taxes. As a member of the world, sustainability. I mean, if you're not sustainable, the opposite is not sustainable. It's just a matter of time. But to affect any solutions to these, I'm all about process. And that means, how does city council conduct itself? And with this new form of government, how does city council interact with the mayor? The current city council uses emergency legislation excessively, inappropriately. They go into executive session. I think, it's hard to know, but I think a little too often. And over the last 2 years, the city council has pretty much ignored the fact that we're going to have an elected mayor, and that the ordinances and charter need to be reviewed. So here we are in the middle of September, and other than a couple of...
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, what is your opinion on contracting out or privatizing city services to private entities?
Me? Okay. So when I was 17, I just turned 18, going on 18. My mom let me out on a day of town. I went to Tower City, and I had lunch at Panera Bread. Officer comes to me and yanks me out the chair, whisks me away to a back undisclosed location, and I sit in the cell. Later, this cop comes in, rips my belt off, and takes me to the city jail, where I was held for 4 days. I later found out, after being in the workhouse for a month, that it was mistaken identity. So yeah, I have a problem with city workers and city contracted workers that don't see me.
Thank you. I absolutely want to see as much of our work done by city employees as possible. Number one, that means that they are union employees, and I am a big believer in unions because unions increase wages and benefits for all of the workforce, even those who aren't in unions. There's also something to be said for buy-in of a team and being a part of a community and really being invested in the job you're doing. And you get more of that when the people are part of a staff. They're part of a much larger team that is working towards larger overall goals, and you're a part of that. And so we absolutely need to bring as much of our work in-house and with staff who are part of our overall community team as possible.
I honor the work of organized labor in this country over the last 100 years. And I strongly support union workers. And I would not want to be hasty in the city having fewer unionized workers. And I would also not want to have workers who don't really know the city. It's a slight tangent, but I once called the regional dispatch about a car halfway out of a parking lot, out of a driveway, just a little bit west of Cedar and Taylor. And since I called some sort of regional dispatch who wasn't familiar with Cleveland Heights, they kept asking me more questions about where is west of Cedar and Taylor. I'm thinking, no, you should know that. The person answering this call should know where that is. Like they asked, like, what color is the car? It's the only car in the road, and it's halfway in the road. So I'm all for a cohesive workforce here in Cleveland Heights, one that supports Cleveland Heights.
Thank you. So I say yes, even though everyone has said no. But I said yes as long as it is cost effective and beneficial to the city, residents, and taxpayers. Thank you.
All right. Next question. What actions, if any, do you support to enhance collaboration and support between the city and the school district?
I think that the city and the school district absolutely need to be in conversation, and I would actually add to that we need to bring in the directors, principals of our private schools as well. City Council, we need to make sure that all of our schools are strong and all of our schools are getting the resources they need to provide their students, and each school has a different demographic of students with different student needs and dynamics. And so we need to bring everyone to the table and really find out what's going on in different schools and how the city can be a partner to making sure that all of our schools thrive. And so I believe that yes, our city council should be in continual conversation with our school board as well as our private schools.
So this is actually part of my my platform. I would advocate for better and more desirable housing stock by creating a separate council committee for housing, but actually for housing and schools. This would formally acknowledge that we're all in the same boat together, that the city's desirability and quality of life are greatly influenced by our schools' property taxes and our schools' reputations. And in my platform, I refer to the Cleveland Heights, University Heights Public Schools, and it was pointed out to me, we have people living in Cleveland Heights who are in the East Cleveland School District. So they need to be, in addition to the private schools, East Cleveland residents and their schools need to be included in our search, our regular, formalized search for solutions.
I was a active participant in Cleveland Heights Singers. Teacher had an issue with me because of my mother's workplace and that she was middle class and still growing. And the teacher later lied and said that I had cursed him out, and I got suspended for 10 days. Never been suspended before, hurt me to this day. And I think that teachers have to be accountable for what they do to students, and they should not be concerned about where the parents work, as long as the children are doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's not a, who makes how much money or anything like that. So I had a problem with that the last time. That's why I ran for school board.
Thank you.
I think it's a must. I think that it's a must because what it will do is it will bring unity. And then the Cleveland High School Board would be able to talk to the council to see if there are issues, if there are problems that we can assist with, or vice versa. And by us being in the community, we all need to work together. Thank you.
Okay. Starting with Mr. Kanter, and then we will come down to you to answer second.
Okay. Thank
Keep the
you.
loop going. Just lost the question. Mr. Kanter, what is your position on ward representation versus at-large representation for council?
That's a great question. So let me begin by saying, I am for electing the 7 seats in 7 head-to-head elections. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we have to have wards. I just don't like this group pool battle royale situation. It's so difficult to answer about wards because right now I don't even know in 2022 what the role of city council is. City council is a legislative body. It's limited in its interactions with the city workers according to the current ordinances. So I'm not sure exactly what ward representation would provide the citizens, especially now that we're going to have a mayor.
Do you mind repeating the question? I know you
What
said it.
is your view of ward representation versus council at large?
I don't think that we actually need a ward representation because you are already a resident of the city. Okay, so therefore, if you're, like I said before, if you're coming together and you're on council, you live in the city, you should know issues because you will be on council. So therefore, you just really just want to try to rectify any issue that any resident comes to you with.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Williams?
I think any effective leader will know that we need as many people on the task, on this job. We need board representation because if we don't have that extra help in the communities, then someone's passing through the cracks. Someone's not there. Someone is breaking into a home and we don't know about it. Someone is getting carjacked. Someone is on the floor, on the ground right now, and we don't know about it. Someone's house may be infested with roaches and bed bugs, and we don't know about that. But the ward may know, the ward leader may know, and I think that they're very important. And I would definitely use them to my fullest advantage.
Thank you.
Many people that I have spoken with describe emailing all 7 council members and getting no response whatsoever. And I think part of the problem with having all at-large members is that if every council member is your council member, then none are. None feel that sense of constituency to you. They're someone in their particular area. So I think that particularly as we are transitioning from our previous style of government in which our council really served as a board of trustees to now we are moving to a truly legislative and representative body. I think now is the time to explore this question a lot more and really ask ourselves, how can we best represent the city of Cleveland Heights? I do personally think that ward members are a good idea, but I think it's something that we need to study very closely and have a citizen group discuss it and put together a recommendation, and that recommendation should go to the people for a vote.
Thank you. And unfortunately, this seems to conclude our time allotted for question and answer period. And now we turn to closing statements in the reverse order of the start. Josie Moore.
All right. Again, thank you so much for having this. This has been a very good conversation. I wish we had more time to really dive deeper into these very important questions. So on January 1st, 2022, we are going to have an almost entirely new city government in Cleveland Heights, and this is an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing chance to really rethink what we want, not only for Cleveland Heights, but what we want our council and our mayor to be doing for us. And I think what most voters really want from council is a council that works together, and we don't need to all be unified in one vision, because differences of perspectives and priorities are healthy and they make for a stronger council, but we do need to be unified in our goal of working together and collaborating and problem solving in order to bring about a better Cleveland Heights. That is my experience. I am a collaborator, I am a problem solver, and I am a communicator, and that is what I would bring to Cleveland Heights Council.
Thank you. Mr. Kanter.
If elected, I look forward to a strong collaboration with the other council members and the mayor. I would advocate for safer neighborhoods, safer residents, and a safer, better trained, and more diverse police force by making the Cleveland Heights Police Department a national model for community policing. Funding to accomplish this goal would come from the Federal American Rescue Plan's $38.8 million windfall, as well as other sources. With such an investment, we would be responding to an immediate problem that some of us, our neighbors and our friends, don't always feel safe in their homes or on the streets of Cleveland Heights. I would also recommend that we have a legitimate charter review commission in 2022. It's my understanding that 2022 is a year it could be convened. Lastly, I'd like to say that historic U.S. Representative Shirley Chisholm once said, if they...
Hi, my name is James Williams. You can cash at me at James Williams 0413. That's again, James Williams 0413. You can cash at me. Cleveland Heights has failed as a city of diversity. Cleveland Heights has failed our school districts. Cleveland Heights has failed for racism and equality. But I'm here still for social change and awareness and reformation. And we need to stand against the evildoers in office and the establishments and the streets. My name is James Williams. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson.
If elected, I plan to be very vigilant. I plan to listen to the community. I plan to be an advocate for the community, And I also plan to try to resolve problems, but I will also need the community to assist and to help me. So that will be my plan if elected. Thank you.
And just as a reminder, there are 3 other candidates seeking this position. I read statements from Robert Koonce and Eric Silverman, and Ellen Roth is not here. This concludes the candidate forum for the unexpired term for City Council and concludes the forum this evening for the City of Cleveland Heights. We will have forums coming up in the near future for the City of University Heights and for the school board. I would like to thank all of our candidates, all of our volunteers who made this evening possible, and to thank all of you for watching. Most importantly, don't forget to get your copy of the voter's guide and vote in the main election on November 2nd, if not before. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.